Howdy, 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 guys. Welcome to a Monday evening, July 12th, right in the middle of the summer and the start of Big Brother 23 season. It's been every bit as exciting as I figured it would be. I hope y'all are enjoying it. I'm getting no sleep. It's going to be a crazy summer. I'm going to be like Rip Van Winkle come September. I did see they just announced. Before I start talking about that, before I forget, let me just start off as I always do as people come in with a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love the Big Brother and reality TV world fans. I'm kind of loving Big Brother 23 so far as well. How much chaos and pandemonium are we seeing in that stuff, guys? Oh my God, it's so amazing. And I figure if y'all got other things you want to talk about tonight, I'm going to try keeping an eye on the comments and we can certainly switch over a little bit. But I got to think it's mainly going to be Big Brother that we talk about this evening, right? Right? I think probably so. It certainly occupied a lot of my time, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. But no, welcome to all of y'all. Before we do that, because there are some people that are kind of straggling. And so before we actually get to a whole lot of Big Brother talk, y'all just bear with me. I got to throw out one or two little things. First of all, happy National Pecan Day to all of y'all. Pecan's a state tree of the state of Texas. I love me some pecan pie. I absolutely do. But there's a big controversy, guys. And I'm curious to see, because I got people from Canada, from the Northeast, all over the world. Pecan Pie Day. Did I say National Pecan Day? It's Pecan Pie Day, which just takes a pecan and makes it just a little bit better. A whole lot better, actually. But here's the thing. I got people from all over the country that come there. My friends on Monday night. Do y'all pronounce it pecan, or pecan? Those are the three ways I hear it pronounced quite a bit. And I don't know how you type it out to tell me which it is. I personally call it pecan. Maybe that's the lazy Texas drawl or something. I don't know. I think about 40% of Texans or something do that. So anyway, there you go. Happy National Pecan Day to y'all. I know what I'm doing after I get through with the show. Just love some pecans. But topic for another conversation. Let me look at the comments real quick here. This time since Wednesday has been so long, Moss saying, yeah, it doesn't seem like just a few days in that Big Brother house, does it? There's been a lot going on as well. Dream a little dream. Hi from Louisiana. Well, howdy, neighbor. I've spent a lot of time in Louisiana, and I love the state. It's such a fun place to visit and hang out. So welcome, neighbor, to you. Let's see, what else? I'm doing something else tonight. Thanks for your live feed recaps, Don said. Well, Don, I appreciate the support. I truly do. And you go take care of whatever you got to take care of. And the beauty is, and hey, let me give a shout out. I don't always do this, and I should always. Not everyone watches this show live, Monday nights, and a lot of people come back and watch it later on. That's the beauty of saving it on replay to YouTube and all that. So all of you who aren't watching it live, but you're out there, thank you. I appreciate your support as well. I truly do. And I like having this saved so people can watch it later on. All right, so let's see what else as we look at this. Yeah, Alex Hill, I can't believe I woke up this morning and they were still on the feeds. I try to stay up. Yeah, y'all know me. For those of you who don't know, I'm doing the morning live feed recaps of Big Brother. So I try to watch the live feeds all night long. Now I may drift off once or twice, but I really am trying to stay up all night long, watch these things, do a quick little recap in the morning with the hopes that on most days people will go to bed, 3:30, 4 in the morning at least, so I can at least do my summaries and get a little sleep myself. Not last night. These people, Derek F. was talking about it today. He's saying, what is it? Why is everyone staying up all night long? Why is everyone wanting to get up very first thing in the morning and ask questions? Let's just play Big Brother during regular waking hours and sleep the rest of the time. And I got to say, I agree with Derek F. That was always an issue while I was in the house, because I kind of like going to bed a little bit earlier, getting up a little bit earlier, but not talking game, just getting up, drinking some coffee, having time to myself, doing my Cliff Notes, talking to the cameras, talking to my family and fans and all that. But it was hard because you don't want to be the person that goes, especially as the older person. I didn't want to be the person going to bed early while everyone else is sitting there strategizing and talking about me possibly. So you force yourself to stay up later and later and later. Next thing you know, it's 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and there's still people conspiring away in those rooms, especially when you've got 16 people. Now, it changes a little bit when you get down to 4, 5, 6 people. People are a little more used to playing the game. There's not as many moving parts, so I suppose you don't panic as much about it. And Lord knows there's been some panic and paranoia this, I say this week. It hadn't even been a full week yet. So yeah, the first week or two is especially difficult just in terms of catching up on your sleep, making sure you're involved as many conversations as you potentially can get. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. All right, I see all these comments. I'm going to try to get to them. Now, one of them I noticed, Ma saying, what's the deal with the background behind me? Do y'all know? Can you find the connection with all the things behind me? Before I just throw it out there, I'm going to see if anyone wants to throw in a few guesses here or there as I go back down. And y'all, there's so many questions coming in. If I miss one, just holler at me again. I'll figure it out. All right. While I wait for that, Josh Cohen, you'll see me in the house on BB26. You'll see. Josh, I hope you're right. There is nothing I would enjoy more than seeing a few people in houses over the next few years, next few seasons that set in on Cliff Notes. I promise you, I'll be a huge fan. I will be cheering you on. And maybe we'll end up in the house together one day, and then it'll be even more cool. All right, Ma saying seems like some 70s music reference or movie reference. Yeah, now Chris has got a little bit better. And Andy figures it out. They are all Frenchies. Yes, indeed. We've got obviously, this way. We've got Frenchie, our big brother Frenchie. We've got Frenchie from Greece. Beauty school dropout. I love Greece. Do y'all watch? I love Greece. I watched as a kid. I still watch. That's one of those shows every time it comes on, I watch it. I sing along. Everybody, y'all know me. I love my musicals. So we got Frenchie from Greece, and we got Mr. French from Family Affair. Now I know that's probably a stretch for some of y'all. Family Affair came out in the 70s or so about a dad who loses his wife. He's got 3 kids, and so Mr. French, the butler, moves in to help him out. Even though he's called Mr. French, I kind of get the feeling he's supposed to be British. But yeah, and there's Mrs. Beasley, which was one of the kids' dolls as well. So there, and we got a Frenchie. Where is up here? Up there. I can't point that way. That way. There you go. A Frenchie the Bulldog. So lots of Frenchies. I just figured it was appropriate. I knew we were going to be talking a lot of Big Brother, and you can't talk about the first week of this season of Big Brother without talking a whole lot of Frenchie, right? That guy has been he's been quite the interesting character to watch so far, right? He came in so hard. He's playing so hard. He's got so many people that have been targets, that have been alliances. I don't know if we've ever had someone who had so many people who were both an alliance of his and a target of his at the same time. That has been kind of interesting. He's been fun to watch, right? Couple of things real quick. Shara Shaw saying, hi from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I'd love to visit Cape Cod. Man, get me some clam chowder and all. That sounds fantastic. So, Sarah, thank you. Welcome aboard. I'm glad to have you here. Josh, from Fort Lauderdale. Josh, you said you're going to be on season 26. Congrats on that. And congrats on living in Fort Lauderdale. That sounds like a lot of fun as well. Jay Bird from Lake Havasu. Man, I got friends from all over the place. That's fantastic. And Matthew, hi from Ohio. Matthew, how are you doing, sir? I wasn't that far from Ohio just last week. I was over in Virginia and West Virginia, so just a little south and east of you. But welcome to all of you. I'm so happy to see my old friends out here and see my new friends as well. All right, let me look at the comments. Like him or not, he is a unique player. He is indeed. He's here's the thing about Frenchie. He's had kind of a messy. Now, y'all tell me if you agree with this. He's had kind of a messy few days, picking targets, people protected, then he's going to other targets, and everything else. But I think one of Frenchie's biggest problems is probably the fact that he's too nice. And bear with me on that. I think that it's hard when you get in that house. You say, I'm going to be cutthroat. I'm going to be strategic. We saw Frenchie on the first day saying, I'm getting rid of the big old muscular guys. I'm getting rid of anyone who may be in a showmance. You come in with a strategy, but then you have to live with these people 24 hours a day. And you quickly realize that some of the people may surprise you. And you may find yourself friendlier with them and empathetic and sympathetic to them. And suddenly it gets hard to pick people that you could potentially be ending their games so quick in the season. So I think in a lot of ways, Frenchie's created so many issues simply because he's so nice that he doesn't really want to pull the trigger on anyone. So he makes all these grand statements and things that he wants to do, and then he starts backing off a little bit, but that forces him to go somewhere else, and it just gets more and more messy, more and more difficult. Of all the things I've seen, I've seen a lot this last week. One of the things I saw the last week that I thought was kind of interesting, and I don't remember if it was the episode or not that was talked about, but at one point, Frenchie is talking to Brent, and Brent points out, says, look, people look at me and they assume I'm just a musclehead and that's all I'm about. They don't know. And he had some family, a little bit of tragedy and stuff that hit his family. And so he's trying to point out to Frenchie that I'm a lot more than just this muscular kind of show-off guy and everything that people assume about me. And that really hit home because Frenchie started off saying, I'm going to go after these alpha male kind of guys, making an assumption about the kind of person that some of these are. And then Brent kind of surprises us by having a whole lot more and feeling very judged and criticized based on who he is. And that hit home with me because I knew going into the house when I went on in season 21, I knew as the older guy, as the guy who works in the oil field, as a guy who's from the South, that people were going to make assumptions about me. And I was hoping I could use that to my advantage, prove them wrong, but also as they relied on those assumptions, kind of use that to sneak in and do some other things. So, but I certainly get that you go in and people are making assumptions about you and kind of how unfair that is. Now, on the other hand, we could say all that, but one of the reasons Frenchie wanted to get out some of the people like that is because of the assumption that they're going to be comp beast, just because, their size and athletic skills and all that. And Brent, I think is going to do that. Brent has surprised me. Brent's one of these players. I think he's going to do pretty well, and I'm looking forward to see what he does. Casey Meyer says he's a little annoying though. Frenchie is playing too hard, too quick. I absolutely agree. He's a super fan. I mean, I consider myself quite a fan as well. A lot of us out here consider ourselves fans. So Frenchie probably has not a literal book, but I'm sure he's got a checklist of all the things he wants to do to ensure success in the game. And they're probably all right and they're all correct. You just don't need to do them all in the first 3 days. Y'all realize if this is a regular 99-day season and we're in week 5 day 5 or something, it feels like week 5, day 5, that means we're maybe 5% of the way through this season. And we've seen so much happen so far. They are going to be exhausted by the time they get out of this house at the rate they're going. It is, I don't know what it is. It seems like most seasons, you get a few people that immediately come in hard, play fast. They get booted pretty quick most of the time. You have some people that form the alliances and everything, but you've got a lot of people that are just trying to figure out the game and try to fit in with relationships and everything else. And only after you get a better feel for all the people, then you start playing a little bit more of the strategy game and things like that. I don't feel like we've had that this season. And maybe it's purely because Frenchie got that first HOH and he's forcing everyone else to kind of play his game, to play catch up, because they see how fast some people are playing and they feel like if they don't do it as well, then they're going to get left behind. And there may be something to that. It's been crazy. Sammy Smells, who would you align with if you were in the house? Oh, that's a tough one. Y'all know my season. I wasn't in the big alliance. I wasn't in, they've got the slaughterhouse. And here's the thing. I'm going to try to avoid too many spoilers, but I can't make any promises. So those of you who've only watched the episodes, again, I'm going to try, and I'll try to give some alerts as well. I can't control what's on the comments either. So just be warned. I don't want y'all thinking that this is completely spoiler free. But yeah, there's some alliances in the house. The Slaughterhouse Alliance, the Butchers, there's a lot of these big alliances. Heck, that Slaughter Alliance, I think there's probably 10, 11, 12 people in there. There are a lot of people in that alliance. I was never in an alliance like that. I tended to go more with the underdogs. So with that in mind, I don't know, who would I be aligned with in that house? I can picture me being aligned with Kyland and, I don't know, Brittany and some of the people who may not be the most forceful kind of people right now. I like Kylan. I've enjoyed him. He got placed on the block by Frenchie, and I just feel he is almost like a default choice. That I don't think anyone really is upset with him about a whole lot of stuff. He just kind of was there because Frenchie was running out of targets because so many. It's weird because of the way the season is set up. You're losing so many people that you can't nominate. Figure in a regular season, if you're HOH, you have someone that wins veto that you can't pick, but everyone else is pretty much open targets. This season, though, we have 16 people. Well, Frenchie nominated himself, so that's down to 15 people. There's 3 other people on his team that are safe as well, so now you're down to 12 people. We see the wild card competition, which was on the episode last night, and Christian wins that and then takes Xavier with him, so that's 2 more people protected. Suddenly, that's only 10 people available to put up for nomination, and you've got to have 2 targets, and you have to have a backup just in case a veto is used on one of those. So out of the 10 people left, you've got to have 3 people identified as people that you potentially could get rid of. That makes it pretty tough. The odds are a little tighter than in most seasons in terms of your chances. And maybe that's part of why we're seeing people play so fast. During my season, there were a lot of people, not me, but a lot of people who really felt like they could coast the first half of the season. They probably weren't going to be targets. So why do too much, too hard, too fast? And so they just kind of cruised. And so everything started off a little bit slower. I know my season people said, pre-jury kind of boring. After that got fun, but pre-jury kind of boring. Maybe so. I had some exciting moments before pre-jury, but I get it. But this season, if suddenly there's a limited number of people that can be put up for nomination, you just have to fight a lot harder to make sure you're not one of those people. So maybe the format of this season's show is helping push everything to play just a little harder, a little bit faster. Just my opinion. I don't know. Parker LeBrewery, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And if not, I'm sorry, Parker. The house guests have become fans and idols one day and enemies the next. It's crazy. Love the strategy, but the indecisiveness is frustrating. Oh, I agree. There's been so much fluidity, so much fluctuation. It is incredible trying to keep up with these alliances and who is loyal to who. And, I see Frenchie wanting to target Derek X one day, and then the next day he said, oh, we're buddies. We're going to work together. Frenchie said that about a bunch of people, hadn't he? It's hard to keep track of all the people. And especially because we all know, we've all heard if someone approaches you and says, hey, do you want to be in an alliance? You don't say no. You say, absolutely. I welcome the opportunity. And you try to develop as many relationships as possible with as many people. And we're seeing a lot of that. And I just haven't watched enough. Not that I haven't watched enough. There hadn't been enough time to figure out really to some degree who is really sincere in the relationships and who is just playing along because they're looking for the protection. And that's what's interesting. We've got so many alliances and partnerships and such that have formed with people. How do you trust someone? How do you make a final 2 on day 1 with someone that you've barely talked to? It's hard. I mean, in my season, I was a final 2 with Nicole. FYI, Nicole was the only final 2 I had in the entire house. I had a final 3 with Ovi, and and the Cliffs Angels. I was trying to stay tight with them, but in terms of final 2, Nicole was the only one. And as much ride or die as we were with each other, we didn't really kind of firm up that, hey, we absolutely have each other's back until right around day 30 or so when we were both on the block and thought, well, one of us is probably going home. So we had a good month to really get to know each other's games and characteristics and ethics and everything else, and then made a decision we wanted to go forward as partners. I don't know how you do that on the first day or 2. Parker saying the diary room must be fuming about Frenchie right now. It says Frenchie's. Yeah, Frenchie right now. Better be shown on the next couple episodes. You say the diary room. I got to think that the Big Brother producers love the chaos and pandemonium. That's what they're looking for, right? That's what we as viewers are looking for. Now, if you're in the house, I would be exhausted. Derek Frazier, he's one of my favorites. I liked him coming in. There's nothing he's done or said except he smokes. I didn't. we didn't have any smokers in my season, and I was really fortunate. I think Derek F smokes a little bit. Frenchie was putting on a nicotine patch, so I guess he maybe smoked in the past, is trying to kick the habit. So good job to you, Frenchie. But yes, God, smoking would be hard in that house. It truly be hard. But no, I like Derek F, and I feel like he's one of those that's just sitting there saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted." Ma saying, like him or not, Frenchie's a unique player. He is. You know what? No one's going to forget Frenchie's name after this season, no matter what happens from this point forward. He has established a bit of a legacy inside the Big Brother house. So more power to you, Frenchie. Also, as well, Momo saying Frenchie's going. Frenchie's going in the Big Brother history books. I agree, and hopefully for the right reason. I'm cheered for Frenchie. I don't mind seeing a little sloppy play and all of that, and you know. And again, part of it is the fact that, because here's the thing. If I was in Frenchie's position, if I had won the HOH, forget about all these various targets. And the last thing I'm going to do is tell a whole lot of people, not only who I'm targeting, but who I may target if the original targets aren't available. I wouldn't be throwing out a whole bunch of names, and because nothing stays secret in that house. It's going to get to those people. They're going to then look at you as targets going forward. He needs to keep his lips sealed a little bit more than he did this season. But with all that being said, if I was HOH, I would have said, all right, team, who was the last place team? Team Kings, maybe, with Xavier and Alyssa, and I can't remember who else is in there right now. But anyway, I would have said a Christian. I would have said, guys, nothing personal, but y'all came in last place in the HOH competition. I know y'all are have-nots. I don't want to pile on, but I like everyone in this house. Therefore, the four of you, amongst the four of you, is who's going up on the block. Nothing personal. It's just the way it is. Try to keep as little blood as possible on my hands, and that's the way I would have done it. Now, the problem with that is that, again, because of this wild card safety competition we saw in last night's episode, suddenly Christian and Xavier are both safe. They're from that team of have-nots, but neither one of them can go home. So suddenly now Frenchie's got Alyssa as a potential target, and who's the other one? Claire? Is that who I'm thinking of? I don't think so. I don't remember. But anyway, it's it makes it tough, as I said before, when you've got that many different targets that are safe from your observation. Let me look through this a little bit. Sorry, guys. Who wants chowder? Chowder sounds really good. Chowder is a pecan pie. I saw Julie Chin out here. Hey, Julie Chin. I don't think it's the Julie Chin, but if it was, that'd be pretty cool. But that's all right, because you're welcome aboard no matter what. Let's see, what else? Parker, the most fuming. We just hit 100 people. I love Big Brother. I love talking about Big Brother, and obviously a lot of other people do as well. Lisa from Nashville, hello. Hey, Lisa, how are you? All right, Sandy said, I just realized Mr. French with the Mrs. Beasley doll. I had one of those dolls when I was a kid. That's creative of you. Well, Sandy, welcome to the old school club, right? I love me some Family Affair. That was one of those shows I watched all the time. So I'm glad someone recognized it. Kelly's on here. My daughter, Kelly. Hey, Kelly. Thank you for watching. I spent the weekend with Kelly and Daniel and my wife, Kelly's boyfriend, Daniel's girlfriend, fiancés now. That's pretty cool. Kelly's saying, can't stop looking at the bulldog in the corner. I don't, and that's not just any bulldog. That's a Frenchie bulldog. So yeah, that was kind of a cute little dog. I've never owned a bulldog. I've never owned a Frenchie bulldog. But as I went through all those Google images looking at Frenchie bulldogs, there's some cute ones. I got to say, I love my dog, and I'm not trading my dog Daisy in for anyone at all. But I could hang with some. It's hard to figure out which direction. I could hang with some French bulldogs. They're kind of cool little critters. All right, so let's see. Yeah, for everyone that doesn't know, this is Kelly, my daughter. Yes, my favorite daughter as well. We did have fun this weekend at the lake. Not to divert from Big Brother, because I know that's what y'all want to talk about. But we went to the lake, hung out a little bit, did some fishing, did some grilling. Talk about clam chowder. I didn't have clam chowder. I certainly didn't have clam chowder like y'all do up in Massachusetts. But we did have a seafood bake. We had shrimp and corn and sausage, and grilled it all on a big outdoor grill. So great, so perfect. But there you go. Just a little detour. Paula, what do you think about having a door near the bathroom? That's kind of interesting, Paula, because I've already seen it on some of the live feeds where I saw today. I think it was Kylan and Derek X were in the gym area. It's the boat room in my season. They're in there working out and they're talking a little bit. And I saw Brittany talking to, I can't remember who it was now, but yeah. So it's kind of interesting. You have a little bit more privacy in the bathroom. Not for going to the bathroom because people wander in and out anyway, but in terms of just conversations, you don't have to worry quite as much about people seeing you in the kitchen through the mirrors and coming all the way back. So I'm sure it gives you a little bit more feeling of security. You're a little further away from the door, so you can talk just a little bit louder and not be overheard, a lesson I need to learn. So now I kind of like the door that's there. I'd really be curious to talk to production and find out why. Why did you make that change? Is there some big reason that y'all think it makes the flow of communication a little bit easier, or is it just the cliff modifier that you just do that so you can't be overheard in that one room? I don't know. We'll see. I did think it was interesting that today, I don't think this is a spoiler really, so I'm not too worried about that. But today on the live feeds, we saw that the backyard is shut down. It's Monday and the backyard is already shut down. That really didn't happen. I don't know if it ever happened during my season. We normally lost the backyard on a Tuesday. Now, sometimes it was Tuesday at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, but we always had the backyard on Mondays. And so for them to already have lost it, it may have something to do with COVID restrictions. With COVID stuff still in place, maybe it takes a little bit longer to build some of these sets for HOH competitions, things like that. It could be that. Here's the thing, guys. It could be that this HOH coming up on Thursday night is some huge, amazing set. It's just we're gonna see it on TV and go, oh my God, look at this thing. They may be building some phenomenal something going on Thursday night, and that's why they needed the extra day. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but for whatever reason, the backyard is already shut down on Monday, which makes that much more sense why they have a gym indoors so all the people can work out and exercise and things like that. I wouldn't have cared if there was a gym indoors. I would have loved to see the washer and dryer indoors. That was what would have mattered to me. Alex Hill, was week one of your season pretty chill? I don't know, Alex. It was not. Here's another thing. How happy are we that we got week one feeds, right? Can you imagine if they had already been in the house for a week and we hadn't seen anything yet? And the first bit of feeds we see kick in, I don't know, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and we missed everything else that's happened other than the little bit we see on the episodes themselves. How lost would we feel and how curious would we be about what maybe had happened? But no, Alex, in my particular season, I don't think week one was chill, but it wasn't like this. And it was nowhere near like this. I remember, of course, day one was pretty hectic because I got banished and had to fight my way back in. But week one, as much as I remember, it was more about that big alliance forming and me looking up and seeing that there were a lot of people that just kept hanging out together all the time, eating dinner together. They weren't very subtle. There were some pretty cocky people in that alliance. They hanging out a lot with each other. And so that first week, it really was dawning on me more and more that what was going on. But and so I started working with Ovi and Nicole and some of the other kind of underdogs trying to counter that. But now it just felt a lot more quiet than that. We did have, I remember one of the early days we went outside and they took shots of us all in our swimsuits and together as a group and things like that. And they just did that apparently, I guess, maybe yesterday for these guys in season 23. So now it just seems like it was a lot slower for us that first week. Now, part of it as well, Christy won HOH in my season the very first night, but I don't think we had our first eviction for about a week and a half or so. So we started off thinking, man, that eviction is a long ways down the road. We're not in this huge hurry for anything. And they don't have that luxury this week. I mean, they're in the house and just a week later, a week and a day later, someone's going out the door. So now just the way this season's set up, it's not nearly as chill as my season was. Deborah Litwalk saying, what do you think of chips, of the 6 chips in the bag? That's really interesting. I saw that, and I mean, you're not talking about, oh, there's one chip less than there should have been or something like that, where you could say, well, maybe he miscounted. Kylan, I think, someone checked. Maybe he just miscounted and there's actually were the right number of chips. I think he said there were only 6 chips in the bag, right? And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, when you have a veto competition, obviously the HOH plays, the 2 people on the block play, they each draw a chip from a bag, from a box, and you either get another house guest listed or you get house guest choice, which means you get to pick anyone that you want to. So in this particular competition, on the block were Kylan and Alyssa, and then Frenchie, obviously. So they each draw a chip. And Kylan at one point says that there were only 6 chips in the box to draw from. I don't know if he means after they had drawn their 3 chips, there were only 6 left, or beforehand. I don't really know the details, and I'm not going to make assumptions about it because that wouldn't be fair. But at some point, the mention was made that it seemed like there were a whole lot fewer chips inside that bag than the 16 chips that should have been there representing the players. I guess you wouldn't have a chip for Frenchie. You wouldn't have a chip for Alyssa. You wouldn't have a chip for Kylan since they're already up there. They aren't going to be picked to play. So you should have had 13 chips. Well, you should have had 13 chips in the bag. And supposedly there were less than that. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that. I will tell y'all my only experience with a question similar to that. Back in our season, if y'all recall, I got to play in a whole lot of veto competitions. I got picked a lot. I'm kind of the Tyler type string of luck of playing a lot of competitions. But Nicole and Holly, they almost never got picked. Nicole competed in the very first veto competition. I don't think she competed again until the very end where everyone competed. Holly didn't really participate much either in the veto comps. And so there were a couple times that we thought, we kind of laughed about saying, oh, they took y'all's chips out. Y'all don't have a chance. There's no way. But I know, and I won't throw out names, but I know there were at least 2 occasions where while carrying the chip box back into storage, people looked at the chips inside that box and everyone's names were in there. Everything was on the up and up. There weren't anyone's chips who were missing. Everyone had the equal chance, just the way it should have been, had the equal chance to play. So I can say from my season, there was no funny business going on. It was just pure random luck that Nicole and Holly didn't get picked that much. It's just the way it was. And I would assume the same thing is the case this season. But how I explain what Kylan said, I can't. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out later. But yeah, it wouldn't be Big Brother without a few controversies here or there, right? Ma saying, I want Orwell. I love him so much. Yeah, we don't have After Dark this season, and Orwell was a mascot for After Dark, which, it was, I miss it as well, but I don't know what went on that we haven't had After Dark now 2 seasons in a row. I hope it comes back. I hope Orwell comes back. Until then, he can just hang with me, though. Momo saying the wild card twist is going to be a game changer. It's really interesting the way it worked. And for those of you who don't know, I assume that you may know if you're out here, but just in case you don't, the 3 teams that didn't have the HOH winner in their group, the 3 other teams each put up 1 person who can compete against the 1 person from each of the other 2 groups. The winner gets safety. Maybe a punishment comes along with it. I think it's going to change week to week, which is kind of cool. And yeah, I think it's a game changer as well. It protects a lot more people. You don't really know how it's going to work. And I love that competition. Did y'all see it last night on the show where it was all about sound? You had to go into a house that's been destroyed, torn up. Looked like hide and go veto after we tore the place up. You have to go in and find a cell phone and keys. I don't remember what else, a wallet or something, without making any noise. And of course, there's cans stacked up against the doors and marbles and popcorn and chips. I really like that. I guess I like the competitions that aren't just straight up athletic muscle type requirements. For our season, one of our activities was smelling the horrible smells. And I hated that from a participant because they really did smell bad. But I like the fact that competition had to do with smell. This competition had to do with noise. Some of the senses that don't normally get used in Big Brother competitions. I like to see new types. We all love OTEV and slip and slide and the iconic competitions. But I like to see when they come up with some of these new ones that they're different and a lot of fun. So that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Let's see, what else? Lucas Campbell, who do you think is playing the best BB23 game right now? You know, Lucas, who I think's playing the best game, the ones whose names aren't getting mentioned by a whole lot of people right now. Those are the ones that can sit back and let some of this drama and chaos just go past them. Wait till these people fight it out, and then once some of that's resolved, then you come in and play the game. Specifically, some of the people, Aza, I think she's played a pretty good game. She seems very. She's not a huge talker, but she talks when she needs to. But she's listening more than she's talking, and there's normally something pretty good about that inside that house. She seems to have a pretty strategic mind about the way she's talking to people and everything else. So she surprised me. Brent surprised me again. Maybe I'm guilty of making some stereotypical assumptions, just like a whole lot of other people do. But he's kind of, even though he's an athletic guy, it seems like he's played himself into some decent relationships with different people. So I'm curious to see how he does. Tiffany, you know what I liked about Tiffany? She approached Frenchie at one point and said, look, are you playing with your heart or are you playing with your mind? You gotta, what's going on? And Frenchie right out said, I'm probably playing with too much emotion, playing with my heart. And she tried to get him calmed down. She tried to get him settled down. So there's a lot of people who are playing pretty good games, and those are three of them. There's a lot of others as well. I like Derek F. I don't know what his gameplay is just yet. It seems like he's trying to kind of play dumb a little bit, coasting a little bit. He's doing a little bit of that woe is me. Oh, I'm the big guy. I'll never win any competitions. I'm just here for the fun. But I'm not a threat. I'm just here to provide the comedic relief. Don't pay any attention to me. I think that'll carry him a long way. Carry him to the very end. Don't know, because we'll see how it changes. But I'll say this: I like watching him every time he's on the screen. I kind of laugh and enjoy watching him play as well. So there's a lot of players who've played really strong games, I think, in the very limited time that we've gotten to see them play. But to some degree, they've been drowned out by some of these just huge personalities that are kind of seizing control and capturing all of the attention right now. Capturing all the attention in the first week or two, not a good thing. You really do want to be back under the radar and being not even thought about by anyone else. Moss and anyone else sometimes forget Whitney exists. Again, sometimes that's not a bad thing. Josh Cohen, do you like the new intro? Yeah, I watched it. I always like the way they do the spinning around and doing their little introductions and things like that. I've always enjoyed that. What else? Lawrence Santiago wants Zingbot early to zing Frenchie. You know what? You could just have an entire episode of Zingbot to zing a few people in the house. But yes, Frenchie would get a bit of attention as well. Frenchie, I don't know. Frenchie's playing so hard and everything. He better be careful. He certainly has a lot of people that may have a very good excuse for throwing his name into the ring next time you got an HOH. But on the other hand, are you going to get to the point where, I don't know. I was going to say you get to the point where people just say, that guy's such a train wreck. We're not going to even mess with him right now. Let's worry about other stuff. I actually don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to get a lot of attention in the beginning. But I also think Frenchie may be a whole different person when he's not HOH. And it could be that this next OH, he doesn't have any power. He will not be HOH. Could it be that when he has a chance to come off the king's throne upstairs and all that and just be a regular player, he may play the game completely different. He may be in a preservation mode, and we may see a whole different side of him. He may be a Jekyll and Hyde throughout this whole season. So I'm reserving judgment for him. I've already said I like him. I think he's playing out of a very sympathetic and a nice guy position. And we'll see. He may last a long time. I hope he does, just for the viewership. I'm sure the producers would just soon keep him for a while as well, but he's going to have to be careful. He certainly have created some names. Yeah, I can't picture Christian or Derek X not putting Frenchie's name right at the top of the list if it comes down to one of them getting HOH, right? Jeffrey Bauer saying Derek F has a little bit of a target on his back. Frenchie doesn't trust him as much as he did, for a good reason. Yeah, well, that's probably true. I think sometimes when you try to play too far under the radar and you don't commit to anyone, as much, then they may get a little attention as well. And yeah, he may have a target on his back somewhat, but I got to think Frenchie's got other targets before Derek F. when it comes right down to it. Derek F. and Frenchie are in a final two, right? Now, I don't know how serious it is, but they made a final two on, I think it was day number 1. But yeah, I know that Frenchie probably is a little less trusting than he was. And there's a lot of people like that. Yeah. Frenchie has gotten upset at a whole lot of people because he feels like they didn't tell him everything they knew, or he found out later they were talking to other people that he doesn't consider to be on the good side. Now, you know what? Week number 1, month number 1, the whole Big Brother season, it's all about developing as many relationships as possible, covering your tail as many ways as you can. You aren't going to, if you have someone that says, I'm committed to you only, I'm not going to talk to anyone else, I'm not going to make promises to anyone else, you are my ride or die, that's it. Well, if that truly is that, first of all, you should never believe that if someone tells you. And if someone actually is doing that, they probably aren't going to stay in the game that long. And no one should be so dependent on another person in the house ever, ever, ever. It just shouldn't happen. So you should never be upset when you find out that people are working different sides. And heck, Kat was in Cliff's Angels and she was working all different sides. And, you know, Nick from my season, we knew he was friends with everyone. And that's just part of the game. You just accept that I was trying to create a lot of different alliances, or at least relationships, and everyone else I'm working with doing the same thing. That's just part of Big Brother. Lawrence, do they make the intro the same day they move in? They're wearing the same clothes. In the day and age of COVID, I don't know. In my season, no. I think I can talk about it. It ain't no big deal. While we were in sequester, we had one period of time where we went and did all kinds of media photos. Yeah, the memory wall photo, the introductions, all kinds of things that they're going to use for media shots. Yeah, you see stuff online and the commercials and all that. We just spent basically a day just doing all that stuff, all those shots and everything. Until you mentioned it, I didn't know. I don't remember if I was wearing the same clothes as the day I moved in. Probably, maybe. I guess I was. Probably so. But no. So at least during my season, we all took care of that a little before we went into the house. Now, here's the thing. Even when we did that, we were kept completely isolated from everyone else. It's not like I walked in and said, oh, hey, guys, y'all are going to be on Big Brother next week. Yeah, welcome. I'm happy to see y'all. No, we were kept isolated from each other. We couldn't talk to anyone else. We would go into a room, a bunch of pictures been taken, and you're scooted right back out of there. But no, a lot of that stuff was done ahead of time. Now, with us, we had the preseason interviews, and they released the cast ahead of time. And so you have to have all that before you move into the house, and the intros were part of that as well. Let's see. What else? Anthony Stike saying, actually, Frenchie might be the best possible choice to sit next to in a final two. You're right. If he makes it that far, suddenly he could be a situation where everyone's saying, man, he's not winning it, so I want to sit next to him. But we got a long game to play between now and then. So I'm not don't get ahead of yourself too much on that. Amanda saying, I loved it when Nicole revealed to you about her education. You told her she knew she was a smart cookie. That was a great moment. I knew it. I knew Nicole was that she had something going on. And yeah, I can't say I was surprised when she told me that. You get a feel for people when you're in the house. You think about it. You spend 24 hours a day with some of these people, and you just get to know their inner strengths, regardless of what they tell you. If you're perceptive, I think you pick up on that. And then I picked up on it. And so, yeah, I wasn't surprised at all. I see. Xavier P and Derek F were scheming today. Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me at all. I expect everyone to scheme. I mean, it's just the way it is. Barbara L. Haymaker. Anyone remember Smoking Joe Frazier? Oh yeah, he was part of the Thrilla in Manila, right? He hit Muhammad Ali so hard he broke his jaw in 2 places, if I recall, during one of those fights back in the early 70s. Yeah, Joe Frazier was something else. He was the only one of the very few that could hold their own against Muhammad Ali. And again, I know I'm dating myself. Some of y'all little after Muhammad Ali and Frazier, but Joe Frazier was a heck of a boxer. And his son, I just love watching his son on TV. He's a fun one to do it. Moss, let's see. I honestly hope they make a season based on people who show up to Cliff Notes. Yeah, Ma, that works for me. All I know is if there's 16 people that are out here watching right now that all make it on to Big Brother, they sure as heck better bring me on as a guest host for one of those competitions or something else. They better make me the Big Brother guy. Maybe just let me be the Big Brother voice that season. Y'all be sitting there all of a sudden you just hear, "Hey, house guest, howdy y'all," but no singing. I'd make it fun. Even when I was having to call y'all out, I would make it fun. Frenchie has a whole lot of final twos. Why do I exist says that. Yes, indeed. Frenchie's got a few final twos, which in and of itself, whatever. The problem is, at least a couple of those final twos know that each other has both been promised final twos by Frenchie. That kind of makes it difficult to take it too seriously when you have situations like that happen. Robin Hood saying a big fish. Frenchie is big into his fishing allegories, symbolisms, I guess. Yeah, talk about catching the big fish. You're just a little bait. I think Frenchie is very caught up on the whole fish. I hope, as I say that, I hope they have a fishing competition at some point in time where you cast a fishing pole out into different, the number charts or something to figure out what your score is. That'd be kind of fun. It'd go right up Frenchie's alley, right? Shaq saying, when you want to vote, do you see Julie or was it just a camera? No, when you vote, now we see Julie on the screen in the living room. So when she says, "Hello, house guest," and "Hey, Julie," we actually do see her on the screen. And so we get to see those little blurbs. When you cut away to see, previously on Big Brother and things like that, the screen goes blank. And so we just sit there and kind of chit chat. We can't talk strategy or anything, but we can chit chat a little bit. And then suddenly Julie shows back and, "Okay, house guest, it's time to vote." And we see her again. But when you go into the diary room, no picture of Julie, just a camera facing towards you. There's a speaker off to the side, and you do hear Julie's voice. "Cliff, how do you vote?" And you hear that voice off to the side. And that's why you have people like Haley from a couple of seasons back. Every time she was in the diary room, she'd look over and say, "Hi, Julie, you look beautiful." Well, she wasn't even looking at Julie at the time. She'd seen her earlier, but she actually was turning and facing the speaker instead of facing forward into the camera. So no, we don't see Julie, but we can hear her when she talks to us in the diary room, but it's just a speaker. So there you go on that. Let's see, what else? Any other questions I'm missing on here? I missed the old intro pre-Big Brother 16. Yeah, there's a few things. So the old school Big Brother that'd be fun if they brought back. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, "I'd love to have the key wheel," where one at a time you remove the key and the last two people who don't have a key in there, they're the ones nominated. I kind of like the drama of that as opposed to just seeing flash up on the screen. But I get it in the interest of time and everything else. Now, here's the thing that y'all don't know. Real quick. On those nominations, on the thing, you see them turn the key, and all of a sudden someone's face flashes up on the screen. It's like, there's Alyssa. She got nominated. And it seems pretty quick, right? In real life, sitting around that table waiting for the nominations to pop on the screen, I remember someone would turn that key and it felt like 15, 20 seconds before a picture would show up on that screen. It just took a lot longer, and that's kind of edged it out when you see it in the episode. But I remember sitting there a few times going, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, please don't be, please, oh, it's me, no." And it took forever between turning the key and the face showing up. So it certainly increases the drama and the fear and everything else as you're just waiting for those pictures to show up. I remember a few times where my picture did not show up. I was like, "Ah!" And it's so hard because when you find out you're not one of the nominees, when Mickey won Slip and Slide, and I really thought there was a chance he was going to put me up, and instead he put up Christy and Sis, if I recall. And when my picture didn't show up, there was a part of me that said, "Oh, I got to be friendly." "Oh, I'm so sorry, Christy. I'm so sorry, Sis." But what I really wanted to do is just do a happy dance. I survived the week. I'm so good. I'm fantastic. So happy. But you can't do that. You got to play it cool, man. Play it cool. All right. Zoid is saying, Alyssa keeps saying that she thinks she'll be on the block next week with Christian. Do you think anyone is targeting them? Christian? Yeah, I think so. But he's got alliances as well, right? I mean, so much is dependent upon who wins this next HOH. And there with 15 people still in the house, who knows? I don't know. Everyone pretty much. There's one or two people who really don't have a lot of alliances in that house. And I don't want to go into spoilers, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. But yeah, I don't know. Alyssa, I don't feel like she's this huge target for anyone. Even if some people kind of have her name out there, I just don't see it as much for her. Christian, yeah, I think he'll continue to be a target for people. He has to consolidate power. He has to figure out all the people who are targeting him and try to. It's so hard. I was going to say, figure out who's targeting him, grab everyone else, and try to pull them together. But it's hard when you have a start of a season where you're getting targeted by people and you're getting invited by those same people into alliances and everything else. How do you deal with that? I don't know. Again, I keep saying everything's fluid, and it truly is. But yeah, I don't know. They easily could be a target, but I don't think there's very few people in that house that aren't potentially a target based on who gets the HOH. I know that Azza has said she's not sure if she even wants to play hard for this next OH because she feels pretty safe. And I agree with her. No one's going after her. Tiffany's probably the same situation. I'm sure I could name 3 or 4 other people perhaps that really probably will be safe no matter who wins HOH. But there's more people who could be a target than those who should feel absolutely safe. Vernon Marcadia, how are food requests handled? Do they always get what you want? I wish. No, unless it's a request for watermelon, and then you pretty much get what you want. But the rest of the time, nah, yeah. It's very touch and go. What I learned while I was in there, items that are just so big that they're difficult. Hold on. Red Solo cup. There are some items that are so big, they're hard to fit in the fridge. And then they're a little more forgiving, a little more helpful with like milk. I can't remember if there was ever a time where I would go into the diary room and say, hey, we're out of milk. Would it be possible to get another gallon of 2% whole, whatever you can give us? They'd say, yeah, we'll look into it, Cliff. They'd never say sure. They'd say, well, let's check into it. We'll see. But most of the time, pretty quickly, I'd look in the back storage room refrigerator, and there's another gallon of milk. So that was great. Other items like eggs, which are pretty compact, if you run out of those, you're just stuck to the end of the week. The thinking is you better ration that stuff out and you better pay attention and not use it all up in the beginning. And so things like that, if you ran out, you could request new eggs, but I don't remember ever getting them. And then you've got other items. If there's something that's just completely, I don't know, I'd love to have some, I'd love to have some oysters or something. They're going to say, yeah, well, I'm sure you would. Win Big Brother or get evicted, and then we'll take care of you. But while you're in the house, you're not getting any oysters. They wouldn't say that. They just say, yeah, we'll see, Cliff. Don't count on it, but we'll see. So the items that were kind of the staples, sometimes they'd take care of if it's a big ticket item. If it's smaller stuff, they'd say, sorry, wait till next week or we'll check into it. But there were times or two, like at the very end, Holly wanted to cook a kind of a Thai type meal, and suddenly we've discovered some coconut milk and some peanut sauce and things like that in the storage room. So every once in a while, if they think it's going to make good TV, for example, a couple of dozen watermelons, then suddenly magic happens and you find a few extra things in the storage room. David Buchanan. Hey, David, how are you doing? Frenchie even has a final 2 with pots and pans. He probably has a final 2 with pots and a final 2 with the pans, and is assuming they don't know each other, knows about the other one, even though they hang out together underneath the cabinet, right? A lot of people are playing really hard. I'll just put it like that. He does have a few final 2s. It's tough because now here's the thing. At some point, Frenchie maybe can come clean with everyone and say, look, guys, I know I made a lot of promises to a lot of people. He's already said that. At one point he said, I promise no people of color, no women, no old people. None of them are going on the block. Well, he had to kind of back off of that because he was running out of targets and everything else. He may at some point in the future say, look, I know I made a lot of promises, made a lot of alliances to a lot of people. I'm sorry, but I had to do what I had to do in the beginning just to survive. I'm one of the older people in there. I just felt really under pressure. I had to do what I had to do, but I'm starting fresh. Please there's things he maybe can do and kind of try to change and clean all this up at some point in the future. He just has to make it to that point, and we'll see if he does or not, right? Let's see. What else do we got going on? Sorry, 7:55. That's amazing. Let's see. Derek F. Super sweet, but he plays like his dad. He'll not play the game with his heart. He's entered the house knowing who needs to go. Means Christian better worry more about Derek F. than Frenchie. Derek F., I think he's kind of the smiling assassin, right? He's such a joy to talk to, hang out. He makes people laugh and everything else. But he definitely has this undercurrent of knowing what he wants. And again, I mentioned it before, kind of playing dumb. Don't take me seriously, guys. But he's pushing, he's engaging a little bit with some people, even within his own team. Frenchie is part of his team Joker, or Derek F's part of Frenchie's team Joker, as is Ozza and Brittany. Those three have felt, a little like maybe Frenchie isn't involving them as much as they should. And I feel like they're kind of pulling some strings that a lot of people really aren't aware of. I love seeing it. I absolutely do. We'll see how it works out. Jeffrey, looking forward to endurance comps to see how long they can hold out this year. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see them. We had some endurance competitions and we had some iconic moments that Jessica falling off the wall and everything. There are a couple of people that could fall off a wall this season. It'd be kind of fun to watch them do it. We've got so many high energy personalities in there. I'm looking forward to all the different kinds of competitions. I love the Big Brother strategy, the mental games that you play and all of that. But the comps are so much fun. I'm looking forward to that. Here's the thing though. I mentioned I enjoy the mental competitions. A big part of Big Brother, which I think some of these people haven't realized, it's not all about moves that you make. It's how you respond to moves that other people make that may involve you, maybe not so much, but you can't be responsible for every move that's made. You've got to be responsive and adaptable. And some of these people just seem like they take it too personal, or they're so rigid in their game plans and their strategies that when things don't go quite their way, they just kind of freeze a little bit, knee-jerk reactions. You can't do that. It's 99 days worth of competitions and strategy. You've got to be able to just step back and say, all right, well, we'll figure out something else, and stay calm and collected. When you overreact, it doesn't help you at all. 7:50. All right, one more thing I forgot to mention. I just saw this come out today. They've announced the finale night for Big Brother season 23, and it is September 29th, if I recall. I hope I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm right. That's interesting because that's only 3 days later than my season 21, but we started about 2 weeks earlier than this Big Brother started. We started on the 19th of June. This one started on July 7th. So what is that? 11 days, 18 days. You're 2.5 weeks or so. More time, more gameplay. 3 days longer at the end. So say 2 weeks. Maybe this game isn't going to be 99 days based on what I'm hearing. If that's the case, does that mean we may not have a battle back? Because no one's said anything about that. We know the two people who were put on the block. Those who are into the spoilers know who is on the block right now as well. But we haven't heard whether the person that gets voted out of the house on Thursday, do they have a chance to come back in, or does that end their game? That's going to be really exciting to watch on Thursday, and we'll be able to tell because as soon as they come out of the house, if Julie starts saying, oh, you didn't know about this alliance, or you had no clue that this was going on, well, then that pretty much lets you know the season is over, the game's over, there's no battle back for them. But if she gets kind of secretive and says, what are you thinking? And, things like that, well, then maybe there will be a pre-jury battle back. There could be a battle back and a triple eviction like they did last season on All-Stars. That would take a week away from the gameplay, right? I don't know. There's some things to think about as we go forward with it as well. All right, guys. It is 8 o'clock. Yeah, Survivor 41 starts September 22nd. Big Brother in September 29th. So, yeah, reality TV, it's ongoing all the time, and I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, guys, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to shut it down. Keep in mind, for those of you who aren't aware, I am trying to do the daily live feed updates or overnight updates, what happened overnight. I put those out on YouTube every morning. Yeah, I try to do it early, but it depends on what's going on, schedule, work, and everything else. But check that out if you want just daily updates on what's going on in Big Brother House. Beyond that, I'm going to be out here next Monday. I'm going to start trying to set up some special guests and things like that. So we'll see what we can do over the next few weeks. Y'all have a fantastic fantastic week, guys. I will talk to y'all later. And again, 15-minute updates every morning. SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all of y'all out here. I love Big Brother. I love Big Brother 23. Y'all have a great evening, guys. Cheers, my friends. Talk to y'all tomorrow or Monday or a whole lot in between. Cheers, guys.